and shine. Yes, I just washed my face. It's all in my beard and it's raining outside. Again, 60% chance of rain. At least it was sunny yesterday, but I got to do these indoor morning marijuana motivations while I roll this joint this morning and thinking about changing hemispheres to get to Thailand or Vietnam. I haven't really figured it out, but it's a chance to change. And as a guy that was hanging out with his buddies late night on a Friday night and nothing was happening, we're just all sitting there smoking joints and they're drinking beers, and I'm like, when's it gonna change? The weather's changing, but the patterns aren't. I'm changing, but the people aren't. And there's people around you that don't want you to change so they can keep you in the exact same position that you are. So this is a conversation that has to happen because it is Saints Addiction around here. I'm an honest sinner, and I'm honest about my flaws. And this is one of those things that nothing changes. Leg out, let's go. So, morning motivation, waking up. Some people are deleting photos that they sent me because they were drunk and then they regretted it. And then I got friends that are doing the same shit and it never changes. I mean, snorting lines in the back, in the kitchen, and sneaking around and doing things that isn't really for their enlightenment. Let's put it that way. It's not a judgment; it's a vibration. And what ends up happening is those kind of people end up being vicious or sneaky, or later, they don't even know how to talk right. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you try talking to them, and it just gets into a world that's very confusing. Like if you talk to somebody who's really high and you're just like, you're obviously not with it. You know what I mean? Like you just know somebody's like with it. Hello, anybody home? People that are just stuck in it, and that's what it is. I'm so grateful that I got to get out of my own way. I'm just putting it that way. That I allowed myself to change, get my men's workout tanks, and have myself an opportunity to live differently. That's all this is. This isn't a beat up. It's not a judgment. I'm watching the Fresh and Fit Club and the girls are, one's being judgmental. Well, I became a high value woman and I could have had that stuff before I had my husband. And she was right. She was getting all the red flags of hoes that go to Dubai and all the other places, even Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Sophia? I see you. There's all of that, right? Like there's everybody that's gone in my party town, my hometown of Las Vegas, to just do drugs and gamble and others and have sex and other sorts of debauchery because that's their idea of fun. The other girl, we can't all live the same way. Like she said, some people, they got raised up that way. And yeah, if you have your father, and a father figure in your home, then you have a better chance of not living that repetitive cycle, right? That if I don't have a family structure or somebody to depend on, I wouldn't be able to make decisions that fuck up my equilibrium or my outcomes or the way that it is. You have a better chance of being, supported and understood. I was watching, it was a movie clip from Kevin Costner, and Michelle Pfeiffer is arguing with her daughter, and I don't know if you guys know the name of that movie or not, but Michelle Pfeiffer is arguing with her daughter. What's up, Lucifer? I see you. What did he say? A vampire walks into a bar. Hold on, let me read this. And the boy in the glass of water bar says, I thought you vampires only drank blood. Vampire pulls out a used tampon, says, I'm having tea. Ooh, what the one tampon say to the other tampon? Nothing. They're both stuck up bitches. Ooh. It's one of those that, thanks for the joke, I appreciate it. It's one of those that we don't identify what we're saying to the person or how the other person would have handled the situation if it was your father. She goes, Dad, I'm pregnant and I'm dropping out of college. And he goes, what the fuck? I see you, Lucky. I see you, bro. Thanks for saying hi. And he goes, you're not having an abortion. You're having this baby. She's like, you are not going to tell me what to do with my body. And he goes, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I phrased it wrong. What I meant to say was your mom and me would be blessed to have a grandchild. And he had de-escalated a situation that was obviously heated. You're talking about abortions. Your daughter's coming home from college and she's just like, yo, I got knocked up by some guy that's already married and has kids and shit. Like the situation was not lit, you know what I mean? Or it was gaslit. One or the other was happening. But to reframe it, I thought to myself, if only I had a relationship with my father where I wouldn't have felt like a fuck up when I knocked up my girlfriend in high school before we went and got an abortion, or that I had more of a support system from like my mother when I got the other girl pregnant and I just didn't know how to handle her when she freaked the fuck out. These are all situations that are a complete different race. Again, nothing changes, and you can look at the trajectory of your life. I see you, bro. That was hilarious. Okay. Yeah, what's up, Hugh? I see you too, bro. I'm trying to say hi to everybody here. So it's one of those things where, given all the perfect scenario, you too would make it to the moon. You too would have no issues. And this is not that kind of show. Saints Addiction, I'm honestly flawed. There's been a lot of hiccups, prisons, abortions, and physical violence in my life, where it was exactly a primrose path that I walked to get to this position. It's been quite the achievement and an obstacle overcoming. Damn, that smells good. You guys should get in on this. But, you're going to have to go through some things. It's not like you got to earn your badges. You got to earn your stripes. And it's like one of those things that nobody wants to be a tiger with stripes. But we all have stripes, and we've all probably worn stripes in the prison system, or that we're a big red flag with stripes in ourselves. So no one gets to sit around like holier than thou, like that one girl was doing on the Fresh and Fit Club, and she's just like, I own that condo, I got that car, I got that husband, and she was being extremely judgmental. Not every book is the same read, let's put it that way. Not everybody has a family that can back them and especially their needs or financially, and then also to be a support system where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go be a stripper, and there's somebody that actually cares enough or is actually in the house to be like, it's not what you're doing. Here, I got another alternative for you. Let me talk to you differently. I think of all the things that would have happened differently in my life if I had more of a support system, if I had more money, if everything worked perfect. But that's not the scenario that exists, That's why I'm saying nothing else changes. This is change means everything, Like you change the situation, you change your trajectory, you change your support system, you'll have the ability to pivot on certain things where other people won't. And the race is out there, whether you want to get it or not. There was a show where they lined up all these kids on the field, and they pretended like they were going to race, right? And they're like, on your marks, get set, go. Step 5 steps forward if your parents are still married. And I was explaining that to my friend, that he had a better chance of being married because his parents are married, like 60% chance more. And he's like, I'm never doing that. And he's based out of here in Finland. He's like, dude, your American laws are psycho, bro. The divorce laws are crazy. There's no way I'd ever do that. Like, he was just telling me, like, hell no. And I was just like, well, but you have a better chance than me, because both my parents are divorced, because you've actually seen an actually functioning relationship, if you know what I mean. Like, the fact that your parents are still married shows you and identifies to you that it's possible. It's, again, like me, when I go traveling, the only reason I could travel is I had my Aunt Marlene, and she had done traveled the whole world, as a teen, because of World War II and being she was an ambulance driver and a nurse. Got to see Europe and got to see what it's like to see on the other side of the world. But that's on her. You know what I mean? That's like, if you can see it, you can believe it. This is, if you can believe it, you can achieve it type, Napoleon Hill pep up talk type shit. But it's the truth. All you need is the vision, and then all of a sudden you need the execution. With other people, they don't exactly have the same execution, support system, or vision that the other people do. So it's easy to judge somebody that isn't like you. It's really easy to just look at someone else and go, I wouldn't have made that move. Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't have had to pawn your only gold chains and rings because you and your mom ran out of things, or sleep out of your own car because you don't have any place to stay and you're lucky to even have a car, so you just park yourself down the street from the print shop like I did, and not take showers for about 10 months because I was trying to open up a shop and I lived in the back and I didn't have my own showers, so I had to bum showers off of my friends. You too would have to make some different moves that throw off your trajectory, throw off your timing, and end up spending time in places like a trap house or a strip club or a drug den, because you didn't have it the same as another person. So it's really hard to do comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. And to look at someone else's scenario and go like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that. That's beyond me. And I'm here to say, dude, everyone has a book. You know what I mean? Let's join Weed Club. Let's go outside and smoke this, if you know what I'm saying. But and not everybody's book is written the same. It's almost like a fingerprint where it's not, this isn't identifiable. You're gonna make mistakes. That's for certain. Like that's the 100%, 1000% that no one is mistake free. But it's like how we handle our pivots in our dream. You know, we have a dream. You know, we're like, oh, you know, when this happens, I'll be like this, and it'll be like this, right? Yeah, flex men's workout tanks, baby. You know, but in reality, right? You don't know what it's like. You wouldn't know what it's like with your mom throwing shit out of the window, or your dad being abusive, or an alcoholic. You know, these are all different for everybody. So for us to sit there on a high horse, which we're about to get on this high horse right now, and look down upon somebody, go, I wouldn't have made those decisions, when they have a support system, that they have a bailout, that they have a pivot, and all these other things. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for you to say because you're not in the same situation with the same supplies. You know, what's the one that we were doing? Oh, some fresh air out here, nice in the rain. You know, when you're you know, easy to judge, but like, these guys were out in the forest, or I mean, they were out in the, let me slow down. They were castaways, and they were on this boat, and they had to like cut, like drink bird blood and kill turtles to eat, and then they end up eating the dead survivor, and they got judged. This actually happened in England, where these guys were like, we ran out of food, bro. Like, and then they actually made it, but when they came into the country, they actually had to go back to jail because they had killed somebody, or the person had died, and they had cannibalized that person and ate them. Now you're going to see like, oh, I would never eat another human being, I would never do this or that. That's because you ain't missed enough meals. It's easy for us to judge a position that we're not on. Again, we talked about playing chess this week, and it's easy for us to be like, I would never make that move, I would never drop my queen, I would never surrender and resign a position. We're all resigning in some form or fashion. Not everybody has perfect parents. Not everybody has money, and not everybody has the same situation. So it's character over circumstance. But I do look at the circumstance and look at how the character developed, right? Like, I'm, you know, almost like a movie. You're watching the character develop and be like, oh, so you were abused as a kid, and then you became a Goodwill Hunting, and then you became a really smart, and then you like fixed problems at Harvard. You know, we'd all like to be like, just tell me, let me in. There's that one movie, like, you don't want to know about this, Skyla, and he's punching the side of her, and he's freaking her out like he might punch her. You know, like, most people don't want to talk about those abusive relationships where they have women that beat them up. I had one chick tell me like, I don't know what to do, I hit him and I knocked him out. I'm like, you're beating on your boyfriend? Right? She's a big girl, and she fought back. And then it's like, you know, like, we all think it's always a dude beating on another girl. That's not always the case. Domestic violence is especially a higher propensity with women. So we like to pretend like our shit's perfect, and we would never act that way, and we're higher than now, and we're on our high horse. But I'm here to say, it's not like everybody's going to play the same play, and you wouldn't watch the same play. Otherwise, there would be no dramas, and there would be no movies to watch. It was always the same outcome, and it was always the same. We wouldn't watch anyway. So it's like, you know, not everybody has the same life. Not everybody's making the same decisions, and not everybody has the same opportunities as other people. The thing is how you play it, you know. And let's bless up for the nation. Let's blaze one. Join Weed Club. It's not how you make it, it's how you play it, you know. And some of us decide to fake it, and some of us decide to make it, and that's all up to us. What we do with what happens to us is the only thing we have in control. What's up, Efren? I see you, brother. And that's the most important part of our lives. I hope you guys are subscribing. I'm almost to 1,600. I'm like four subscribes away, if you don't mind. But, you know, everyone has a life, and everyone has a story, and not one of the same are the same. You know what I mean? You got to get the fingerprints, and everyone has a different imprint on their lives and how they walk, talk, dress, act. You know, it's your decision. No one's going to change that about you. But the outcomes are yours alone. You know what I mean? This is where it becomes a self-reflective moment and go, what I do will echo into eternity. It might not be an instant thing. You know, I love watching the leaves fall in the autumn, you know, but this too shall change. And it's like, most people, they have an aversion to it. They're more concerned with the plot, you know. What do other people think about my story? Or what will they say or what will they do? It's up to you. Where are you from, bro? I'm from Las Vegas, man. We're out here in Finland. So I'm a world traveler. I guess I'm an influencer or I'm a YouTuber. I'm a human being that owns his own brand and changed his whole life. And that's all the reason why I go on the morning motivation every morning, is to reach, preach, and teach to everybody that it can change. The story and the storyline and your character can change if you want to change. You know what I mean? If you don't change, nothing changes. Just straight up. Come on. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And I'm here to say I changed my life. I love my life. I made it this far. I've been here for about 6 months. Watch when these trees had no leaves. Then it grew leaves, and now the leaves are falling off. It changes. It changes all the way around us, but we don't want to change. We're like risk adverse. That's a real term, for what could be the different in our story. What pivot can we make to turn our character instead of the villain or the judgmental one? I saw both of them. One wanted to be like, you're all a bunch of walking red flags, while she sits in her 10-acre farm with a husband and family. It's not that easy for everybody. A lot of people like to be blind. It may be because they haven't traveled, but not everybody has it like that. Deaths happen, tragedies happen, and mistakes will happen. I'm the mistake master, bro. I got a maker's mark that I made mistake master because it's happened to me. I've made plenty of mistakes, but I got to learn and capitalize from them. If not, then they just stay as mistakes and they just become a tragedy. And I wanted people to take their pain and turn it into fuel. Like you know what? That happened to me. Okay, well, did it piss you off enough to do something about it? A lot of people just want to talk about that. Pissed me off. So what are you going to do about it? And then you watch them go, what do you mean? What am I going to do about it? Yeah, now that happened, what's your next move? It's a chess move. And everybody's going to have something go wrong on their chessboard, and they're not going to like the way in the direction that it went. I won my chess games, by the way. I got my revenge, but it's all the same at the end. Are you going to learn from the loss? Or are you going to be the type of person, because everybody needs to learn how to take a loss like a boss, and also how to be a good winner, not be rubbing in everybody's face that you got a daddy in a 10-acre place and nothing ever happened in your life. Well, then that's you. That's your story. But there's a lot of stories where there's some comeback kids. I've seen a lot of women that had, in the workouts, they've lost a bunch of weight. So is my friend. And then I've seen the opposite, where I've had friends be fit and then they lose a relationship and then they get fat. It's all part of it. I'm sure you have a friend like that too. It's universal. The thing that's not predictable is what you're going to do. What are you going to do with what has happened to you? And that's what they say when people offend you and how you take things. It's not what they say that matters. It's how you react that matters. And our reaction speed is slow. If this was blitz chess, you'd be down and out of time. And I'm trying to get people to do the most with their time, not just sit there, but do something with it. Don't just let it happen to you. Make yourself happen to it. Make it happen. Captain is one of my designs, but it's something that I say all the time. It's up to you, as they say in Thailand. Lao Tao Kun, up to you how you're going to play it. If you want to climb this tree, up to you. But you're the one that's got to fall. So it's like all these other things that we look at other people and it's like, it's your mistake, it's that mistake. These kids were running on that line and they had no clue. This thing has nothing to do with you. The next was like, take 5 steps or take 5 steps as your phone's never been turned off. Like, this is a whole different race. It was a life race, and we're not all running the same race. Is our parents the same race? No. Do they get a run for you? No. Do we all start on the same starting block? No. And that's the truth of it. There's nepotism. There's people that will get positions because they were born into it. There's people that get to inherit their wealth, you know what I mean? And then there's people that get to create wealth. And I want to talk to creators. I want to talk to people that want to create their lives and create brands and create designs and make something out of this world where robots can't do that. They don't create, they repeat. Doing dishes, yep, that's a repetitive cycle. Yep, it's 150 tasks that you already know how to do. It's a task that you can learn to do that a robot can't do. This is the whole point about being a change, is you got to be adaptable, not programmable. Come on, baby. Come on, come on. Feel the vibration. And that's what it's going to be like while I get high outside and chill the fuck out on a Saturday and I don't wake up hungover and I got some real sleep and I just didn't keep doing the same fucking thing. And that's why it is. I'm getting excited. I'm going to turn these brown leaves into palm trees. I'm booking my ticket. My only decision is should I go to Vietnam or should I go to Thailand? I'm not sure what I want to do, but I'm definitely sure that this has changed. There's leaves on the ground, and I want to go someplace that's warm, and I can't see my breath at midday. So it's like noon here, and I can still see my breath. The temperature is starting to drop, and that means I got to change destinations. I go to the winter in Thailand because it gets cold, and I go to the summer here in Finland because it's nice and warm. It's extreme where I come from in Las Vegas. It's extremely hot during the summer, so I'm like, let me go to Finland where it's nice and cool. And then when it gets cold here in Finland, let me go get warm and go to Thailand, which is nice and perfect during their winter. So their winter is their summer, or our winter is their summer, I should say. And there's other places that you can be. You don't have to be in the couch. You don't have to be at the same friend's house. You don't have to go to the same job. It's the variety is the spice of life. So giving yourself a chance to develop and make something new and have that change is important, bro. It's the catalyst from I was doing this and now I'm doing that. And if this is that, then why not make that happen? Why not make that happen, Captain, and go like, okay, I would like it to be this way instead of the way that it is. And that's what I don't see what people do. They always like to talk about the way that it is. It is what it is. No, it is what you make it. So if you want to go make your life and make your mark, Mark marketing, and also make your life, bro. Like this is what Saints Addiction was all about. This is some of the biggest dream of my life, that I can just be outside in the freshest air in the world, and it's beautiful trees, and we were sitting by the river and getting high and fucking chilling in the sunshine, and it felt so good. I'm like, I love this place. It's so peaceful. It's so clean. It's so quiet. I can just enjoy my time versus the hecticness of living in a condo where I don't get to associate with anybody and I stay inside all day in front of a computer screen, and I might go down to the pool, but it's all covered in concrete instead of a real pond, or now I'm still stuck in the city and I got to be surrounded by concrete, or I don't get to execute my dreams and play on my laptop with my feet in the sand, you know what I mean, on a beach in Thailand. Dude, that's how I live. And I've been living this life for about the last 15 years. I had a car, I had a condo, I had a career. I sold it all, packed it up, and went. And it's changing my life ever since. I make my own shirts like I said I would. I've traveled the world like I do. And then I've even started successful businesses that, like Inasec with our AI, that now it posts for me, and all my video in a sec is all edited for me, and it's all programmed and automated, so I can be more free to go do things like sleep in and not have a boss to tell me what time to wake up or be somewhere, or decide my own life. Like, this is the biggest thing about change, is it's so powerful. It's like the power of yes. The ability to say, I was almost about to make this one decision, but since I wanted a different outcome, I made a different decision. And because I keep making these series of better decisions, right, make better choices, now you get better outcomes. It's such an amazing little system. It's not like a lottery where you keep putting in your dollars and you might hope to win. No, this is a daily win where you just, every day you're daily putting it in and going like, I'm winning a little bit better at life. I'm doing something different that I never thought I would do before. And in that difference, I get the spice of life. I get different foods. Like I told my friend, aren't you sick of eating at the same place? I'm like, he's the same kebab place, and it's not even good kebab meat, and they put it on some cold ass fries, and he's eating the same motherfucking thing. And I'm like, how many times have you eaten at this place? He's like 78. You want to go to a different place, some place with real Mexican food and a different visual than your cubicle, and also more sensations. We're an experienced people. It's the same thing that works for people in Vegas. I mean, the bling 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 bling, it's all stimulus, and we need stimulus. But I'm saying there's better sources of stimulus, bro. I'm here to explain it. to everybody. There's better stimulus out there, stuff that actually works for me, like eating different food, like seeing different destinations, and flipping the script on this planet and changing the weather in my favor. So this is just one of the things that I've done to be on the best part of the planet with the best part of the weather, that I could make income and go travel. That was one of the things that I asked for. You know what I said? I said I wanted to travel the world and make income instead of just spending the outcome, and go find beautiful women to wear my shirts and model for me, reliable models. And all my brands, I wanted them to be worldwide, so I bring them with me and I lace out my friends with shirts, and make sure that my stickers are out there and my designs keep getting circulated, and that just me sitting there in Vegas would never gotten to Germany, or would have never gotten to Finland, or never got to Brazil, because if I don't bring it, then it won't happen. If I haven't brought it from inside me, it doesn't exist. And that's what we want to do. We want to make it exist. Where I kiss the island, and this is where I'm gonna go, back to Thailand, and chill the fuck out, and enjoy fresh rainforest water, and mountains, and leaves, and just make sure that I always keep the leaves green, and live my dream, the endless summer, like watching that movie. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, The Endless Summer, but the guys would go travel around to different beaches, and surf during the summer, and made sure it was the endless summer. They were just chasing waves, and they would go around the world. And I was like, wow, what a fucking cool case. And now it's my life. I look back on when I do these videos for, like, Turkey, and going to the Hagia Sophia, or China, and being on the Great Wall of China, or Angkor Wat, and going in Peru. And I was just like, you know what? I live a blessed life. Let me show people what I do. And then I started sharing it, and then I got more videos and more content, and also more encouragement. Like, I want to see people fucking happy. I want to see them living their lives and thriving, and creating and being what humans are best at doing, versus somebody that's sitting in a cubicle and trying to keep up with the numbers of how much their lunch costs, or how much their rent costs, or how much their life costs, and that they got to stay in this cubicle or this box because they want to make sure that they keep up, and then they got to even earn even more while their time evaporates. Shit, with these new robots, man, we're going to have more time than ever before. We're going to be able to say, what's up, Red? I see you, bro. We're going to have more time than ever before, bro. Someone else is doing our dishes. Someone else is scrubbing our floors. I was at my buddy's house, and he had that little circular one that would go around on the edge. You know what I mean? I was like, that's fucking dope. You can just set it, and it goes and cleans the floors and mops it. It actually does some water and soap situations. So it's one of those where I just wanted to see people live fully, get off these things. And one of the only influencers or YouTubers that are like, get off this thing, man, go outside for a walk. It's nice outside. The fresh air on your skin, the fresh air in your lungs, and the fresh sights on your eyes makes a big difference. And then, instead of sitting there sedated and comfortable and watching what an algorithm is predicting for you, you can change your own algorithm and your own vibration and your own emotions, and then go take your mood for a walk, change up, do something different, triple dog dare yourself to not commit the same fucking cyclical things, and then watch yourself grow, watch yourself bump into new people, and go to new places and eat different foods. You'll be surprised at yourself, and you'll be grateful too, because you didn't just sit there and stay in your cycle and your comfort zone where dreams go to die. You go and be a person that just like gets to realize that there's a whole life out here, and it's worth living. And it's just like, give yourself a chance to live your life. And I love my life, bro. If I didn't love my life, I got an I love my life shirt and a design. And it's like, man, I really did something with my time. It wasn't like I just sat around and just wanted to go live while everybody else was, I don't know, I've seen people put rubber bands around watermelons. I've seen people write on their face until someone tells them that they love them. I've seen people just do dishes live, and you're just sitting there watching TV, and I'm watching you while you're watching TV. Get off of all those things. That's like old Periscope days. Now the thing is I want to go to that country. I want to try that food, I want to live. And that's the biggest fight back in the morning motivation that I want everybody to have, is that I want to win. I want to live. I want to be. Those are the sentences that you should be saying often, and not just monetarily, but as a mantra. You know, I want to be something. And then whatever that something is, you get to fill that in. And just like ad libs, it's a really cool game to play in your life. And I'm going to go back to eating some breakfast. I hope you have a blessed day. Peace and love. And as always, Chigaton. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And Viktu means fuck in Finnish or pussy. I'm not quite sure. Both work. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my high. Enjoy the outside. Everybody's walking and chilling. It's such a nice day. Watching the leaves fall. That's why they call it fall. It's now autumn. And the changing the colors is so beautiful. I want you to see it. It's a beautiful life. Go live it. Peace.